and welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanziba Naurin. In today's bulletin, we will present you detailed news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Biden's entertain more than 330 guests at first state dinner. Obama urges Georgia Democrats to push turnout for Warnock. Biden sees economy avoiding recession, but risks remain. High Court to rule on Biden student loan cancellation plan. Prosecutors said evidence shows Trump explicitly okayed tax fraud. According to AP source, Biden tells Dems he wants SC as first primary vote. Prince William announced Earthshot Prize Environmental Award winners. Musk says Twitter has suspended rapper Ye over swastika post. Pentagon debut its new stealth bomber, the B-21 Raider. New US sanctions against North Koreans over missile program. National 988 mental health hotline backup after outage. Britney Spears' massive pop songs to land on Broadway again. Russia rejects pullout from Ukraine as condition for talks. Ukraine bans religious organizations with links to Russia. Malaysian PM Anwar to be finance minister in new cabinet. Last place Patriots lose third straight to Buffalo 24-10. And Brazil wins group despite 1-0 loss to Cameroon at World Cup. Now news in detail. The first White House state dinner of President Joe Biden's administration drew big names Thursday from fashion, entertainment, politics and business, who turned out to help celebrate French President Emmanuel Macron and the return of large social events after the pandemic. There were kisses all around as the Bidens stepped out on the North Portico to welcome the Macrons. Jill Biden's open invitation as the foursome headed inside enjoyed the evening. Other guests trickled in via a side entrance, seeming keen to do just that. First to arrive, Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, followed not long after by Governor John Kearney from Biden's home state of Delaware. Biden family made the cut too, adult children Hunter and Ashley and sister Valerie Biden. Others attending Good Morning America anchor Robin Roberts, actor Jennifer Garner, singer John Legend and his wife Chrissy Teigen, Navajo Nation President Jonathan Nez, and Ada Lemon, poet laureate of the United States. Garner was among those wearing velvet, a popular choice on a night when temperatures dipped into the 30s. Outgoing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was there, as was House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy of California, who hopes to succeed Pelosi. Before dinner, which ran late, Biden offered a toast to the history that binds us and the values that still unite us, and the future we are going to forge together. Vive la France and God bless America. The White House had not held a state dinner since September 2019. largely because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which put a damper on gatherings of large numbers of people. But entertaining is back at the White House. Former President Barack Obama and Senator Raphael Warnock on Thursday urged Democratic voters to keep pushing an apparent head start in early voting in the Georgia Senate runoff against Republican Herschel Walker ahead of Friday's last day of early in-person voting and Tuesday's election day. If they didn't get tired, you can't get tired, Obama told a crowd gathered in a cavernous former railroad repair shop east of downtown Atlanta. Voters have already cast more than 1.4 million ballots amid an all-hands-on-deck push by Democrats to bank as many votes as possible, while Republicans, especially Walker, have taken a less aggressive approach that could leave the GOP nominee heavily dependent on runoff election day turnout. Both Obama and Warnock criticized Walker, part of Democratic attacks that Walker is unqualified and untruthful. President Joe Biden signed a bill Friday to avert a freight rail strike that he said could have plunged the U.S. into recession. The White House said that Biden would sign a measure passed Thursday by the Senate and Wednesday by the House that binds rail companies and workers to a proposed settlement that was reached between the rail companies and union leaders in September. Members in 4 of the 12 unions involved rejected the proposed contract, creating the risk of a strike beginning December 9 that the government has likely staved off with the bill signing. A freight rail strike also would have a big potential impact on passenger rail, with Amtrak and many commuter railroads relying on tracks owned by the freight railroads. The Supreme Court agreed Thursday to decide whether the Biden administration can broadly cancel student loans, keeping the program blocked for now but signaling a final answer by early summer. That's about 2 months before the newly extended pause on loan repayments is set to expire. The administration had wanted a court order that would have allowed the program to take effect even as court challenges proceed. The justices didn't do that, but agreed to the administration's fallback, setting arguments for late February or early March over whether the program is legal. Prosecutors resumed their closing argument Friday in the Trump Organization's criminal tax fraud trial, promising to share previously unrevealed details about Donald Trump's knowledge of a tax dodge scheme hatched by one of his top executives. Donald Trump knew exactly what was going on with his top executives, Assistant Manhattan District Attorney Joshua Steinglass told jurors on Thursday during the first half of his closing argument, adding, "We will come back to that later." Steinglass spoke for about an hour on Thursday and has told the judge he expects to need a total of at least 4 hours to summarize the case against the former president's company. The Trump Organization, the entity through which Trump manages his real estate holdings and other ventures, is accused of helping executives avoid paying income taxes on company-paid perks such as Manhattan apartments and luxury cars. President Joe Biden said Thursday that Democrats should give up restrictive caucuses and prioritize diversity at the start of their presidential primary calendar, dealing a major blow to Iowa's decades-long status as the state that leads off the process. In a letter to the rulemaking arm of the Democratic National Committee, Biden did not mention specific states he would like to see go first, but he has told Democrats he wants South Carolina moved to the first position, according to 3 people familiar with his recommendation who spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss private conversations. The president's direction comes as the DNC Rules Committee gathers in Washington on Friday to vote on shaking up the presidential primary calendar starting in 2024. Members now expect to approve new rules putting South Carolina first, followed by New Hampshire and Nevada on the same day a week later. Georgia and Michigan would move into the top 5 as new early states, and each would hold primaries in subsequent weeks, committee members say. The two battlegrounds were critical to Biden's 2020 victory over then President Donald Trump, who had won both states in his 2016 White House campaign. This news is sourced from AP News source. Prince William became heir apparent less than 3 months ago, but he has already been crowned Britain's chief environmentalist. On a 3-day trip to Boston with Kate, the Princess of Wales, William has drawn praise for his efforts to draw attention to pollution and climate change and the need to scale up solutions to address them. Those efforts culminated Friday evening when the 5 winners of the royal couple's Earthshot Prize for Environmental Innovators announced. The Earthshot Prize offers £1 million in prize money to each of the winners of 5 separate categories: nature protection, clean air, ocean revival, waste elimination, and climate change. The winners were announced at Boston's MGM Music Hall as part of a glitzy show headlined by Billie Eilish, Annie Lennox, Ellie Goulding, and Chloe X Haley. The show featured videos narrated by naturalist David Attenborough and actor Kate Blanchett. Before attending the ceremony for the Earthshot Prize, the royal couple visited the John F. Kennedy Memorial Library and Museum. President Joe Biden, who was also in Boston on Friday, greeted the couple there. William is following in the footsteps of his environmentally minded grandfather, Prince Philip, the late husband of Queen Elizabeth, and more recently his father and Elizabeth's successor, King Charles III. Twitter has suspended rapper Ye after he tweeted a picture of a swastika merged with the Star of David. It is the second time this year that Ye has been suspended from the platform over anti-Semitic posts. Twitter CEO Elon Musk confirmed the suspension by replying to Ye's post of an unflattering photo of Musk. Ye called it his final tweet. "I tried my best. Despite that, he again violated our rule against incitement to violence. Account will be suspended," Musk tweeted. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, has made a series of anti-Semitic comments in recent weeks. On Thursday, Ye praised Hitler in an interview with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Ye's remarks have led to his suspension from social media platforms, his talent agency dropping him, and companies like Adidas cutting ties with him. The sportswear manufacturer has also launched an investigation into his conduct. America's newest nuclear stealth bomber is making its public debut after years of secret development and as part of the Pentagon's answer to rising concerns over a future conflict with China. The B-21 Raider is the first new American bomber aircraft in more than 30 years. Almost every aspect of the program is classified, ahead of its unveiling Friday at an Air Force facility in Palmdale, California. Only artist renderings of the warplane have been released. Those few images reveal that the Raider resembles the black nuclear stealth bomber it will eventually replace, the B-2 Spirit. The bomber is part of the Pentagon's efforts to modernize all 3 legs of its nuclear triad, which includes silo-launched nuclear ballistic missiles and submarine-launched warheads, as it shifts from the counter-terrorism campaigns of recent decades to meet China's rapid military modernization. The Biden administration on Thursday imposed sanctions on 3 members of North Korea's ruling party's Central Committee for their involvement in the country's ballistic missile program. The Treasury Department announced it was targeting the director and vice director of the Workers' Party of Korea, John Seung-ho and Yoo-jin, respectively, along with another Central Committee member, Kim Soo-gil, with asset freezes and bans on Americans conducting any type of business with them. The sanctions came as North Korea has ramped up its ballistic missile testing to a record pace this year, with more than 60 launches, dialing up pressure on Washington and Seoul. The 3 officials played major roles in North Korea's development of weapons in violation of UN resolutions, the Treasury Department said in a statement, and have personally attended numerous ballistic missile launches since at least 2017. The nation's 988 hotline, intended to help anyone experiencing a mental health emergency, was back up and running Friday after a day-long outage. The call service, which was launched in July, was restored shortly before midnight on Thursday. People experiencing a mental health crisis were still able to reach a mental health counselor by texting 988 or by visiting 988lifeline.org to start a chat. The federal government is investigating the hotline's outage, Health and Human Services spokeswoman Sarah Lovenham said in a tweet late Thursday night. In a statement on Intrado's website on Thursday, the company said it was working as quickly as possible to resume full service. The outage also impacted the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration's Disaster Distress Helpline. The 988 hotline is a national helpline staffed with mental health counselors around the country that's designed to be as easy to remember as the emergency line 911. Since its launch, the hotline has fielded roughly 8,000 phone calls a day from those seeking mental health help. A stage musical about oak princesses that uses hit songs by Britney Spears will land on Broadway this summer. Once Upon a One More Time, featuring Spears tunes including Oops, I Did It Again, Lucky, Stronger, and Toxic, will start performances in May at the Mercury's Theatre. The musical has an original story written by John Hurtmeyer about classic fairy tale princesses, Cinderella, Snow White, and Little Mermaid among them, who are transformed after reading The Feminine Mystique, a landmark feminist text. Once Upon a One More Time, first played at the Shakespeare Theatre Company, known for its more stately offerings. It will be directed and choreographed by Keon and Marie Madrid. The cast will be announced at a later date. Now it's time for global updates. Russia said Friday that Western demands it should pull out completely from Ukraine as part of any future talks to end the war effectively rule out any such negotiations. As Russian strikes continued and a Ukrainian official set his country's battle losses at up to 13,000 troops. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov reiterated that Russian President Vladimir Putin remains open to talks, but the Western demand that Moscow first withdraws its troops from Ukraine is unacceptable. Peskov's comments came as Putin spoke on the phone Friday morning with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Scholz's office said he made clear to Putin that there must be a diplomatic solution as quickly as possible, which includes a withdrawal of Russian troops. On Thursday, US President Joe Biden also indicated he would be willing to talk with Putin if he demonstrated that he seriously wanted to end the invasion and pull out of Ukraine. Ukraine on Friday banned the activities of religious organizations affiliated with centers of influence in Russia and said it would examine the links between the Ukrainian and Russian Orthodox churches. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky signed a decree enacting a National Security and Defense Council decision to impose personal sanctions against representatives of religious organizations associated with Russia, which invaded Ukraine more than 9 months ago. Zelensky's decree additionally provided for examining the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate, one of two Orthodox bodies in Ukraine following a schism that in 2019 resulted in the establishment of one with independence from the Russian Church. Ukrainian officials suspect the Ukrainian Orthodox Church is promoting pro-Russian views and that some priests may be actively collaborating with Russia. Moscow Patriarch Kirill, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, has justified Russia's war in Ukraine as part of a metaphysical struggle to prevent a liberal ideological encroachment from the West. New Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said Friday he will also serve as finance minister as he unveiled a leaner cabinet with many new faces in his unity government. In a move that appeared to contradict his anti-corruption platform, Anwar named the graft-tainted head of a smaller bloc as one of his two deputies. Malaysian politics took an unprecedented turn after a November 19 general election failed to produce an outright winner. Anwar's alliance of hope led with 82 seats but fell short of the 112 needed for a majority, while an Islamic nationalist bloc won a surprising 73 seats. Malaysia's king, who appoints the lawmaker he believes has majority support as prime minister, later named Anwar as the country's 10th leader, ending days of uncertainty. Anwar, who is 75 years old, later owned the backing of his traditional rival, the National Front, and a bloc from two estates on Borneo Island to secure a majority. He was sworn in a week ago. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,767.02. The NYSE composite is increased by 5.90 points or 0.04%. Tokyo stock close price is 27,777.90. The Nikkei 225 index is decreased by 448.18 points or 1.59%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,156.1442. The Shanghai Composite Index is decreased by 9.33 points or 0.29%. Hong Kong stock close price is 18,675.35. The Hang Seng Index is decreased by 61.09 points or 0.33%. Bombay stock close price is 62,868.50. The Sensex index is decreased by 415.69 points or 0.66%. Now a look of today's sports stories. Josh Allen threw for 223 yards and 2 touchdowns on Thursday night to lead the Buffalo Bills to a 24-10 victory over the Patriots, their third straight victory over New England. It's the first time the Bills have beaten the Patriots 3 times in a row since 2000, before Tom Brady took his first NFL snap. These games get bigger and bigger, so when you fall short, it's disappointing, Patriots defensive back Devin McCourty said. We have some time. We need to regroup, reset, decide what we want the rest of our season to be. With Brady running the New England offense, the Patriots own 6 Super Bowls and 17 AFC East titles in 19 years. But Brady's departure created an opening atop the division, and the Bills have taken over, with 2 straight division titles and the inside track on a third. Now, World Cup football match reports. Vincent Abubakar scored 2 minutes into stoppage time as Cameroon handed Brazil its first group stage loss at the World Cup in 24 years Friday, a result that still allowed the 5-time champions to win the group and eliminated the Africans. Abubakar was sent off with a second yellow card for taking off his shirt during his celebration after sending his powerful header past Brazil goalkeeper Ederson. The Cameroon captain then threw his shirt to the ground near the corner flag and waited for his teammates as they rushed toward him. Cameroon hadn't won any of its last 9 World Cup matches, with 8 losses and a draw. South Korea advanced to the round of 16 at the World Cup on the tiebreaker of goals scored after beating Portugal 2-1 Friday, following a stoppage time strike from Wang Hee-chan. Uruguay and Luis Suarez were eliminated from the World Cup despite a 2-0 win over Ghana on Friday. The result also put Ghana out of the competition. Switzerland advanced to the last 16 of the World Cup for the third tournament in a row after a 3-2 win over Serbia on Friday. Let's have a look on today's weather chart. That's all in today's news. Keep watching Millennium News 24 for latest updates. Millennium TV USA and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jadoo TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment program. Thank you.